today's newspaper, that is June 20th, Indian Express news articles. First article is related to no rollback. Agniveer aspirants must pledge they weren't among protesters. Big shortfall in hiring of ex-service across government departments and ports data. While the center has announced 10% quota for Agniveers in the CAPF, Ministry of Defense and Defense Public Sector undertakings of official records shows a big shortfall in the number of ex-servicemen recruited in the government jobs as compared to the vacancies reserved for them. While 10% Group C post and 20% Group D post are reserved for ex-servicemen in central government departments, they considered only 1.29% of overall strength in the Group C and 2.66% in Group D across 34 of 77 central government departments, which shared the data with the DGR. Let us continue this article in page 4. No rollback. Also, the articles talks about several reports have recommended a young military since 1989 to instill youthfulness, and this was our own inspiration. The Agniveer scheme was not done because someone said. The pandemic afforded an opportunity to introduce the policy. Nature or God gave us opportunity in the form of COVID-19 pandemic to carry out the changes that military have been trying since 1984. Asked if the policy could be rolled back, Puri said no. Why should there be a rollback? Agniveers would form a distinct ranks in the forces, different from any other existing rank. Also, to encourage the recognized dynamism of youth and distinctive insignia will be worn by Agniveers on their uniform during their engagement period. The Agniveers will be eligible only for 30-day leave in a year, and a third of what troops get in an existing system. They will not be allowed to leave the service before 4 years. Lieutenant General Puri mentioned that even those who had cleared some stages of recruitment in the last 2 years, whether physical or medical, would have to reapply under the new policy, as all the recruitments would happen through Agnipath. Puri said the government's announcement regarding reservation for Agniveers in the CAPF, Assam Rifles, Coast Guard and Defense Public Sector undertakings and other departments have planned in the advance were not a response to the protest. The only change done by military was one-time age relaxation to give a chance to those who missed out in the last 2 years, during which pandemic had prevented recruitments. Cargill Review Committee report had mentioned that large number of Jawans are in their 30s and the officers are getting command much later than in the past. This is what all about, and the models of other countries were studied as well. In all other countries, it was seen that average age in the military was 26 to 28 years, and almost all countries had multiple entry and exit avenues. Youth were preferable because they can take more risk and have junoon and jasba, that is passion and emotion. Agnipath would bring down the Sipai to non-commissioned officer, that is NCO ratio, from 1:1.28 to 1:1, improve the teeth to tail ratio of the forces and bring an ideal mix of youthfulness and experience. The next article that we are moving into is all about textbook revision / a portion in the history of Islamic rulers of India. The article is about ruling establishment of view that Indian history glorifies invaders and the Mughals at the cost of others has now found a strong echo where it possibly matters the most to the school textbooks. The content on Islamic rulers has suffered deep cuts in the sweeping changes made to the textbook by NCERT under its latest rationalization exercise. Internal record shows it found that most of the changes related to Muslim rulers have made in one book. For latest textbook revision exercise is to be reduce curriculum load to the help students make a speedy recovery from learning setbacks suffering during pandemic. The book launch. At book launch, the country's history is misrepresented with prominence given to Mughals at the cost of empires such as Pandyas, Cholas, Mauryas, Guptas and Ahoms. Let's continue this in the page number 4. Employees and that's all about the article. Next article that we are moving into is related to the article talks about Arunachal district women-led fight for drug-free community. The most Changlang is a most periphery, India's easternmost periphery, has contended with an addiction problem. Addicted to Kani, that is opium colloquially referred to in Arunachal Pradesh Changlang district. This is what the article is all about. Next is big shortfall in hiring ex-servicemen. The article is about public sector bank where the reservation for ex-servicemen is fixed at 14.5 for direct recruitment in Group C and 24.5 in Group D, reported slightly higher. Ex-service accounted for 9.10% in Group C and 21.34 in Group D. The issues of shortfalls in the recruitment of ex-servicemen has been raised at several meetings in the past. The latest meeting was held on June 2, chaired by Secretary Department of Ex-Servicemen Welfare. According to the records of the meeting, Directorate General Resettlement stated that efforts should be made to increase the representation of the ESM, that is ex-servicemen, in government departments by way of filling the authorized ESM vacancies. DGR said that LOs are requested to monitor that ESM vacancies are duly mentioned in the job circulars advertisement going to be published for direct recruitments or recruitment through recruiting agencies. Adequate number of ESMs are not applying for these posts. Adequate number of ESMs are not qualifying for these posts, and Department of Personnel Trainings orders regarding the relaxed standards of selections are not being implemented by organizations. PAN message is signaled by cockpit crew to declare that they have a situation that is urgent but does not pose an immediate danger to anyone's life or to the aircraft itself. That is a plane. It's about the topic plane. Next topic that we are moving into is regarding related to India grants visa to 111 Sikhs in Afghanistan. A day after Islamic State claimed attack on one of the main Gurudwara in Kabul, they killed 2 people and injured at least 3. The Indian government granted visa to 111 Afghan Sikhs who wanted to come to the country. The source said the decision to grant e-visas were taken within a hours of attack which took place on Saturday when 25 Afghan Sikhs and Hindus had gathered at Gurudwara Dashmesh at Pita Guru Gobind Qatar Parwan, Kabul for Sukhmani Sahib or morning prayers. Next article talks about look forward to taking ties to new domains, says Jaishankar. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar on Sunday said India is looking forward to working on new areas of cooperation with Bangladesh, which includes artificial intelligence, cyber security, startups and fintech. We now look forward to working with you to take our ties to new domain, artificial intelligence, cyber security, startups, fintechs. Seventh round of India Bangladesh Joint Consultative Commission was held in New Delhi on Sunday. It would like to take opportunities to convey that if in any concrete way we can be assistance to you in the management of flood and relief efforts, we would be very glad to be supportive. This article is all about this. The next article that we are moving into is related to inflation tightrope. Indian economy has been hit by inflationary shocks of late. Inflation target of RBI is 4% with a band of 2% on either. Since the beginning of this year only, after inflation hit 7%, did it rise the repo rate? So how will this episode pan out? The fact that some part of inflation is coming from abroad is an added complication. There has been also been a steady outflow for foreign funds from stock markets. This could cause the rupee to depreciate, in return rising the prices of imported goods. For example, petroleum products, thereby adding to the inflationary woes. Supply shocks pose a problem for the authorities. If the output is stabilizing using macroeconomic policies, prices will rise even more, and on the other hand, if they stabilize the prices, output or employment will fall. Actually, the interest rates should rise more than inflation, so the real interest rate rise causing a compression in demand. Until recently, the inflation rate was well within its target range, but with the supply side shocks. First point relates to agriculture's role in Indian economy. India's non-food and non-oil components of consumer price index are about 47%. Second point is the silence of exchange rate and its effect on output. Until 1970s, the accepted wisdom was that an economy has to achieve both internal balance and external balance. For OECD countries, the external balance was not a constraint any longer, since they had made their currencies fully convertible and international capital flows were unrestricted. But is this true for India? Is it were so? No one would be interested in discussing the country's foreign exchange reserves, because these could be generated instantaneously by exchanging the domestic currency for foreign exchange. Okay. But portfolio inflows can and do reserve themselves. In about 6 months, foreign exchange reserves have fallen from around 640 billion to around 60 billion. RBI bought foreign exchange with rupees, but fearing this would stoke inflation, it sold the government bonds and remove excess liquidity. This sterilized intervention saw the RBI's foreign exchange asset going up, matched by reduced holding of government bonds. Thus, foreign exchange reserves were not its own; there were liabilities against it. This, unlike foreign exchange reserves accumulated by running current account surpluses. In effect, we had our own episode of Dutch disease. You have to go and see what is about Dutch disease. Next one is a grim reminder. This article is about the attack on Karti Parvan Gurdwara in Kabul, in which two peoples, a Sikh Kranti and a Afghan, were killed, in a grim reminder that Afghan remains the world's terror central. An extremist group that makes no secret of its enmity towards minority and women has killed its way to grab power over the country. In 2018, when Kabul had not yet fallen into Taliban, a suicide attack in Jalalabad killed 18 peoples of the community, and in 2020, the attack of another Gurudwara in Kabul left 25 people dead, claimed by Islam State Khorasan province, who is ISIL-K though. Afghan chapters of Islamic State is quite different from IS in the Levant. Clothes separate from Taliban. Many disgruntled Taliban are said to make up the ISKP, while Haqqani group, autonomous power elite within the Taliban, are said to have links with it. Delhi has been quick to grant emergency visas to some 166. They have lived in fear inside the Karte Pavan since the Taliban takeover. Even as many of their brethren managed to fly out, the attacks comes day after an Indian team of diplomats and other officials visited Kabul and met with the Taliban's foreign minister and other ranking members of the regime. This is what this article about. Let us continue this video in next articles in next video. If you like the video, please do share, like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.